has been described as a bold attack. What's your reaction to it?
Oh, Gemma, I think the word audacious and bold is entirely justified in this case. We've known about this notion of, let's call it in inverted commas, attack in a box, meaning that concealing weapons like drones in shipping containers and pre-positioning them forward potentially into a region of conflict is something we've had our eye on. But the audacity of this attack in these so-called kit homes, infiltrated specifically up to 4,000 kilometres, and of course command and controlled through satellites back to a central command headquarters. I think there's specific timing in relation to the peace talks is not an accident. So this is an audacious attack. We use the term asymmetric attack, Gemma, when we are talking about, a superpower here. How do you strike back at a superpower? Well, you don't attack using the same strength that they have. The Ukrainians can't launch their own bombers deep into Russia, so they have found a way to asymmetrically attack Russia in a way that Russia is going to have very great difficulty defending. So an extraordinary success for the Ukrainians. Yeah,
and what we know about the planning and execution, I mean, we've got the drones smuggled into Russia, hidden in mobile wooden cabins, the roofs open remotely, drones taking off, and 34% of cruise missile carriers at the targeted airfields were hit, according to authorities. What does that tell us about what Ukraine has up its sleeve?
I think there's a level of innovation that we're seeing from Ukraine that, frankly, all Western military planners need to take account of. Their ability to find innovative ways and adapt these new technologies at very low cost is extraordinary. We think these drones probably cost about $4,000 each. I'm sure there was significant costs in setting up these kit homes with retractable roofs, etc. But in real terms, we're destroying billions of dollars worth of aircraft. These aircraft are sort of the equivalent of the B-52 in the Russian inventory. They will be very, very hard to replace. So at very low cost, with extraordinary innovation and adoption of, frankly, commercial technology, we've seen the destruction of a high proportion of Russia's ability to do deep strike.
Now, Ukraine's President Zelenskyy says this is an attack for the history books, yet a source from within the Trump administration say that they were not aware that this attack was coming. Is that plausible?
I think it is plausible. I think there is probably some suspicion in the intelligence agencies in Ukraine that information shared with the Americans may find its way into the media or into other commentary and potentially find its way back to Russia so that the attack could have been countered. It's possible that if the Americans were notified, it might have only been minutes before the attack itself. So I do think that's a plausible claim.
Now, Russian and Ukrainian officials, of course, due to meet in Istanbul tomorrow for talks, and you said about the timing here not being an accident. How do you think this attack and those from Russia will have an effect on these talks?
I think both sides going into these talks will want to be showing strength or advantage and try to make themselves dominant in that discussion. We know that that's certainly Russia's position. There has been a significant number of attacks in the area east of Kyiv to try and, if you like, straighten the lines of some of the border areas and increase Russia's holding of strategic territory. So that's their attempt to show that they are the dominant force. This attack will give the Ukrainians a significant position of strength in those talks. And the message to Russia will be, we can strike anywhere in your country as well. And we've seen significant disruption of Russian air travel and the attacks into Moscow itself around their Victory Day celebration. So the message from the Ukrainians is we are not weak and that we come to these talks as an equal. I think there's a very significant strategic purpose to these attacks.
And that brings me to the comment from Zelenskyy, further details to come, but he says the operations headquarters were right next to the FSB, Russia's security service. How is such a claim likely to be received by Putin, but also the people of Russia?
Look, Zelenskyy is the master communicator. He's a true 21st century leader. He knows how to prod and embarrass his rivals. So I think whether that claim is 100% true or not, there is likely to have been intelligence operations very close to Russian headquarters. Whether the attack itself was command and controlled from there, perhaps we will never know. But it is all about amplifying this information war, Gemma. So, who is winning the information discussion? And I think right from the outset of this war, Zelenskyy has shown himself to be the master, perhaps the best that we've seen at using modern communication and messaging to stay on top of his rival.